Hello everyone, welcome to my AK Coding YouTube channel. Today is the 5th day of learning JavaScript and today's topic is about introduction to loops. If you're ready, let's get started. What are loops in JavaScript and why they are important? Loops allows to us repeating a block of code in multiple times, and they're essential for tasks like iterating over arrays, processing the data, and automating repetitive tasks. And it also reduces our code redundancy and enhances the efficiency of the code. In JavaScript, there are 3 types of loops. The first one is for loop, and the second is while loop, and the last one is do while loop. For loop is ideal when the number of iteration is known. So this is when the iteration of the number is known, we can use for loop, and we can use other loops also, but this one is much more useful. And the next one is while loop. It's useful for us when the number of iteration is not predetermined. And the third one is do while loop. Do while loop executes at least once, even if the condition is false initially. So let's dive in. For loop syntax, as you can see here, the keyword we use for and the simple brackets, just simple brackets, and there will be 3 cases inside. The first case is initialization, second one is condition, and the last one is increment. Initialization executes once and sets up the loop. For example, we have a let and the variable name is I, which mostly we use I, J, K letters while using the for loop, and we are initializing it to value 1. And the second one is condition, which checks before each iteration and the loop runs if true. For example, we have initialized the initialization to 1, and the condition we are checking if I is less than or equal to 10. And the increment updates the counter after each iteration. As you can see, I++, or we can use I+1. Simple one. So here the case is happening when the initialization equals to 10 or equals to 11, it will stop from looping. So let's see in Visual Studio Code, and we are going to use. So I will declare for with simple and square curly braces, and inside I will write an initialization. So I'll write let, which is I is equal to 0 or maybe 1, you can write, and I is less than or equal to 10, and I++. And here we'll write the block of our code. For example, I'll write console.log I. So if I write this, so we are initializing in the first step to the 1, our variable, and after that it is checking the condition if I is less than or equal to 10. Yes, this is. So the first execution will be 1, right? And then it will come to it will change to 1. 1 will be incremented and it will be 2. And it checks 2 is less than or equal to 10. Yes, this is also right. And this goes until 10. When it comes to 10, right? When it comes to 10, it will check if I of the value of the 10 is less than or equal to 10. Yes, this is also true. And it will be increased by 1 again, and it will be changed to 11. And when it comes to 11, it checks with I, 11 is less than or equal to 10. No, this is false. And the loop will be stopped here. So it means the result will be from 1 to 10, we'll be seeing the output. Let's see the output. So as you can see here, it's printing from 1 with including 10. However, if I remove the equal sign and if I just leave it with less than, and we'll be getting from 1 including 9 out of 10. So because why? It's checking until 10. When it comes to 10, 10 is less than 10. No, this is not, because they are equal. So it's stopping. So when the condition is false, the loop will be stopped. If the condition is true, it will not stop. So how can I make the condition only true and it doesn't meet with false? In order to do it, I will just change plus plus to minus minus. When it's being changed, it starts from 1 and it will check. If I is less than 10, yes, it is less than 10. So it's iterating the first one. And the output will be 1. And then it's coming to minus minus. So when it's minus minus, the I is changing to 0. And in the third iteration, it will be minus 1. So it means it's going down. So it will never be greater than 10. So it means it will be infinitive loop. So if I run this, you will see. As you can see, here 2, 3, 4, 3, 1. This kind of big number. Like 2343, 1, I think. So this means this will not be stopped. So don't make this kind of crazy mistakes. So the next loop is while loop. The syntax of while loop is simple, and there will be initialization, but we don't use instead of a while. So as you can see, we have a while and condition and the code block to be executed. The code block runs as long as the condition is true, and it will check the condition before executing the block. So first it checks the condition, and after that it executes the block of the code. So let's do this, like iterating from 1 to 10 to 9, right? In while loop. So I'll comment this just, and I'll write let I is equal to 1. Why I'm doing this? Because I have to initialize the value first out of the while, because we have to do this. So I'll write while I is less than 10. I'll write console log I and I plus plus. So we'll be writing, or we will be incrementing the value of I inside of our code block, because as I said before, it will check the condition and then it will execute the code. So if I run this, we'll be getting the same result. This is amazing, right? So while loop we mostly use when the iteration is not known. So as I said before. And the last one is do while loop. It executes at least once, even if the condition is true. Really? Let's see. So here is the syntax of the do while loop. So do while loop, as you can see, there's no like condition in the first line. So there will be do and the curly braces. Instead of our curly braces, we'll be writing the code block to be executed. But where's the condition? Condition will be after the curly braces. There will be while, because we are using do while keywords, and while will be there will be here condition instead of our brackets. So it executes the code block once before checking the condition. So it will first execute the code and then it checks. So this is working reverse to while loop. And it is useful when you need the code to run at least once regardless of the condition. So it doesn't mean it will run regardless of the condition. So it means even if the condition is true, it will not stop. I mean, it will run. So I'm going to show here, and I'm going to say the differences between while loop and do while loop. So while loop checks the condition first, and it might not run at all if the condition is false. But do while loop will not check the condition first, it will check then after it will first execute the code and then it will check the condition. And it might run at all if the condition is true. So we can do this iteration also in do while loop. So I will be showing here. So let's go back and I will just commenting this one, right? Maybe I can leave this because I need this one, and I will write do curly braces, and here there will be while this condition. So instead of here, I'll be first executing the code console log I, and then I will be incrementing here instead of do, and I will be writing the condition here. So I'll write I is less than or equal to 10. And let's see the output. So the output is still the same. So the differences between three of the loops, as you can see, if, as I said before, if the initialization is determinate, it's good to use for loop. If the initialization is not determined, it's good to use while loop. And if the condition regardless the condition is true and you don't know the initialization and execution of the code, this is the best one to use do while. So differences I told before the while loop and do while loop, and I think you learned something new today. And I'm going to talk about a little bit controlling the loops. So we have two keywords, which is break and continue. Break exits the loop immediately, and skips any remaining iterations. And the next one is continue keyword, which skips the current iteration and moves to the next one. So it will skip the numbers. So as you can see here, the simple code using continue. So we have for loop, as you can see, we are initializing to 1 and we are iterating less than or equal to 10, from 1 to 10. And I++, and we are checking if I with modules 2 is equal to 10 equal to 0. So this means, so helps us to identify the even numbers between 1 to 10, and it will continue and it will skip these numbers and it will be console log. So let's see the output using continue, and also I'm going to show with break. So I will be just I'm deleting all of them, and I will write for loop let I is equal to 1 and I is less than or equal to 10 and I++. And here we're checking the condition. If I percentage by 2 equal to 0, and we'll be writing continue here. If you want, you can just remove this curly braces because it's not necessary, because we are not writing the executing code for f, because we're just skipping. So I'll write continue here, and then I'll write console log here. So what will happen here now? So as I told before, it will skip the even numbers between 1 to 10. So let's see the output first. As you can see, we are getting 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. So we are not getting 2, 4, 6, and 10 also, because 10 is also even number. And here, when it's checking, it's coming to 1, right? And yes, it's true. And it's checking 1 is less than or equal to 10. Yes, it's true. And it's incrementing 1 plus plus, and it's going 2. So the first condition is passed, because it's also checking first this one after this one. I mean, it's checking if the number is even number. So it's not even number because 1 is odd, and it's continuing and it's printing to the console, I mean the value. So the second one is coming to 2. 2 is less than or equal to 10. This is right, but when it comes to if condition, it's getting an even number and it's skipping and it's going to back again. It's not going to console log, it's going to back again, and it's starting the third iteration. So the next one is break. What is break actually? So I'll write if I is equal to 5. If I write like this, what will happen? If I write like this, when the I value is equal to 5, it will stop iterating. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 will not be iterated by for loop. So the difference between break and continue, as you can see, the continue is just skipping, break is just breaking. This is simple explanation for you. So I wanted to give a simple coding challenge. So write a JavaScript program to calculate the sum of the first 10 natural numbers. So from 1 to 9, so it means 1 to 10, and use any loop, for, while, or do while. So maybe you can use 3 of them, and maybe you can do more practice. I hope you learned something today, and if you have any questions, just comment below, share with your friends this video, and do not forget to hit the subscribe button. See you in the next videos.